Hello and welcome to Data Planet. I'm Emma Davis, and today's guest is Katie Jones, Executive Vice President of Marketing and Operations and Chief of Staff at PathFactory. Welcome to the show, Katie.
Thank you so much, Emma.
All right, so to kick things off, tell me about PathFactory. Who are your customers and what is it that you do for them?
So we have a large number of customers that kind of span a little bit of small business, mostly mid-market and enterprise customers from, the Cisco's and LG's of the world to smaller companies like Litho and Sysdig, small software companies. We work with financial companies, specifically in the tech industry, but also a little bit outside. And what we do is support them with their content to allow them to put very personalized content experiences that are contextual to the buyer or the researcher in front of them at any point in time when they're going through their marketing journey. And we put different pieces of content together in a bingeable fashion, very similar to the way that you'd think about, you know, watching a show on Netflix or looking through products on Amazon. We would take those different things and put them together as content pieces, videos, PDFs, PowerPoints, different things like that. So that a buyer can educate themselves very easily off the back of a single click instead of having to go through a treasure hunt or, go back and forth through their website, different channels to get the information that they need to make a purchasing decision.
So, how customized is that for each person or each company, I
Yeah, it
guess?
really depends on the strategy of the marketer, but it can be very, very personalized using our AI functionality that we can understand, all the content in the corpus that you have. We understand what that content is about and how it relates to each other. But then we also have great analytics on the user side. So we understand who the user is, what they're engaging with, what they're interested in, if they've been here before, if this is the first time. And we use all of that information kind of in conjunction with each other to serve up these personalized experiences using AI. So I would get a different kind of content package or experience as a marketing leader than somebody who maybe is in procurement or technology or something like that, so that they get the information that is relevant to them. And then, in addition to that, we can also kind of personalize the experience that they're seeing, where we bring in, the information about the buyer, their company name or their industry and associate different messaging and looks and feels and bring in different content, things like that, associated to it as well.
So, it can be really tricky to market something that's like, we can do this, or we can do this, or we can do this.
Mhm.
So, how are you finding those customers and what's working for you uh, to engage your own customers for Path Factory?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it is interesting. Even PathFactory has a few different lines of business or different products that we sell and the way that we sell it. So it is, a challenge as a marketer to understand who you should be going out to and what you should be selling them or marketing to them about. But we really try to pick up on a lot of those digital cues, things that they're searching for, or things that they're interested in based on their content. And then we also, use the idea of, I mean, this is going to age me a little bit, but like lookalike audiences.
My gosh, what?
I know I'm like 80. Um, so we try to look at, similar people or similar companies in the industry or that are selling similar things and how they've used us and been successful. And then we apply those to different lines of our targeted accounts that we're going out to drive messaging around pain points that they're probably experiencing. A lot of people have a lot of content. They don't really know how to use it. They don't know how to reuse it. They don't know how to associate it together. And we adjust at those pain points within our marketing experiences so that we can really relate to the buyer.
And so, is your value prop or whatever that you're sharing with them like get more from your content, or is it more about helping to convert your customers? Like, what are you finding actually resonates with Path Factory's customers?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, earlier on, when PathFactory was a bit of a younger company, we definitely, towed the line of get more out of your content and even talked about more of the conversion piece. I think as the years have gone on and buyers are changing and expecting more of a consumer like process within the business world, that's
Mhm,
typically pretty hard to get.
mhm,
A lot of people don't wanna convert until they're ready to, like, make a purchase decision, and in most cases, they're pretty far down the funnel, maybe have 2, maybe 3 vendors that they're really looking at, that they actually wanna talk to because they've used both their own education journey and now largely AI to make that decision or to get enough down the funnel to make a decision without talking to another human. And that's kind of changed our positioning a little bit, which is more around providing a personalized experience to your buyer that they're used to in their personal life through the likes of Netflix and Amazon, some things like that, while providing them the information that they need, known or unknown, to make that buying decision from your first party content. Because as we know, not only through AI, but even through other brands and the ways that other people talk to you, not all of the information that they find is 100% accurate. And you really want people to be relying on information that you're providing. So giving them that personalized experience, maybe that like one-to-one ABM feel, if you're talking like business talk, um, is we're really what we're trying to achieve and reach out to people with that message.
okay, and so is Path Factory at a point where you're, like, drinking your own Kool-Aid? Are you guys testing this out at all, or this is it sounds like there's overlap between you and your target customers in
Yeah.
terms of how you wanna be connecting with people on an individualized level, so, have you been testing Path Factory yourself at all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's such a cool spot to be in the company as being a marketer when you market to marketers and sell
Mhm.
marketing software to a marketer. Um, so you get a lot of information from other people. You get to like, share ideas and talk about things that are working or not working. But to your point about drinking our own champagne, we definitely try to use Path Factory across every marketing um channel that we're doing. Any event that we're doing, we bring marketing or sorry, we bring Path Factory in as part of the experience. And we've most recently just launched um, our our first one-to-one ABM campaign, driving that personalization to our top target accounts in the summer of last year. And we've kind of been iterating on that and rolling that out to more and more accounts and kind of shifting some in, some out. Over the last year, and we've seen a lot of success with that, and which is great. Not only are we obviously like generating pipeline, and I'm hitting my goals, and all of those amazing things, but it's been great that I get to go talk to some of our customers and say, hey, this is like kind of the crawl, walk, run of how we got here. And it doesn't have to be as scary as you think it's going to be. You can definitely accomplish this. I mean, we only have a 2-person marketing team here, and we're accomplishing this for, over 100 target accounts.
On a
So,
one-to-one ABM
yeah. And the
basis.
technology, Path Factory technology just makes it scalable. So it's been really
Wow.
great.
Wow. Do you have a target of okay, you started I think you said you started with 50 and now
Yes.
you're at 100? Like,
Yeah.
do you have a how high is up that you think you could scale to with a two-person team plus the Path Factory powerhouse on top of that?
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely we have some companies, some customers that are very inspiring, and they have hundreds and hundreds of these. They also have a bit more manpower behind them. We're
Mhm.
kind of doing a few different tracks in the way that we're looking at it. So, I think about 100, 120 is a pretty good number. We do switch some of these in and out. So some that we're not getting any traction from, we'll bring in some new target accounts that we can try and market to. So we're kind of refreshing that. We're updating the pages and tweaking messaging, adding new content, things like that. So we're always iterating on the one-to-one. What we're also doing is revamping our one to few. So kind of at your question to scale, we're looking at, okay, how many companies can we really go out to with more of a verticalized message?
Mhm.
And kind of focusing more on the vertical, still putting personalization pieces in there because it's really easy with PathFactory with like partnering with Sixth Sense and Demand Base and things like that, where we can easily swap logos in and things like that, but um, allowing us to scale a little bit more with the one to few. And then the other thing that I'm really excited about this year is we want to do more personalization to the target accounts as kind of a step two, which is more of an in pipeline acceleration campaign.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
focusing on in-pipe deals and what is the bottom of funnel content that we can present to them so that they can educate and then convert faster.
That's awesome. And, with that, are you thinking about, we wanna get in front of the people we're already talking to, or we wanna build out our influence on a larger buying committee at these places, or a little bit of both? Like, do you
Yeah.
what is it that you're testing? I mean,
Yeah,
I love
definitely.
talking about
Yeah.
this stuff, so
A little bit of both.
okay.
Yeah, so we definitely want to have kind of a central repository or place where the buyers that we're speaking with all the time have a place to go to find the information that they need, that they can continue to educate. You know, people typically go back to the pieces of content that they've already read through a buying cycle and, reconfirm the information that they know, make sure that they, can reference that stuff. So it's really helpful to have everything kind of all in one place. But to your other point around expanding the buying committee, that is a huge part, especially in an enterprise sale where you have, we're selling to marketers, but procurement's in there and legal's in there and infosec's in there and finance is in there, like all these different groups that we need to educate because in this day and age, people are just like, oh, well, we're going to cut this one or this is a no because it has AI in the contract.
Mhm.
Things like that, the challenges that you come up with. So, really trying to provide this experience to that broader buying committee and extend it within their organization.
That's so cool, and I don't know if you have these numbers top of mind, but just thinking about the way you can both customize and, um, like, providing different types of content, different pieces of information on a per person or per company basis, I imagine you can get some pretty solid ROI on this and some much higher conversion rates than a more generalized approach. I don't know to what extent if you have any data on and we can cut this out if you don't have any data, but like how much of an impact does the more tailored one-to-one approach do you see your clients or hear your clients telling you, oh my gosh, our engagement rates are way up, or we're seeing higher close rates from these? Like, what sort of an impact does a strategy that involves Path Factory have on actual customer acquisition?
Yeah, I wish I had a number for you. And
That's
I
fine.
think that we could definitely find one, but anecdotally, we're seeing, a lot more traction with it across our customer base because it's working. So it's putting the effort in. Um, and we noticed from the one-to-one campaign that we launched in 2025, it was our highest converting channel, which is why we really put our eggs in that basket. And what we're looking at is pipeline generated to that.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that that really speaks volumes to the power of what Path Factory can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, okay, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about you because in getting to know you a little bit ahead of this,
Mhm.
honestly didn't know that your job title included chief of staff, also executive vice president of both marketing and operations. So that is a lot of hats, and you started in marketing, right? Like
I
you
did, yeah.
initially your first few jobs were in marketing. How did that transformation happen? Are you just someone you can break things down, you can operationalize things, and so this continued to build up from the marketing function to like that's a hat I can wear. Let me put that one on. Like, yeah, I got this. How did you get here?
It's been a journey for sure, and I'm so thankful to my leadership that I've had, along the way that's believed in me and given me challenges to kind of take on and see if I can kind of, you know, fix them and break down those walls and operationalize. So it's been a fun journey definitely and one of the reasons why it's I've been here for over 8 years, which is not necessarily something you see in the software industry. But yeah, so I started in marketing, came over to kind of help. I fell in love. I actually purchased PathFactory as part of my tech stack when I was a marketer, fell in love with the company, and then came over and wanted to kind of educate our customers or new buyers on what PathFactory could do.
Mhm.
And that's how I kind of started in the more technical side of solutions architect, and then moved up into more of an operational role. And then, yeah, my CEO kind of just puts me where he thinks things kind of need to be fixed and trusts me to fix them. And then I move on to something else, which works well for me because I get bored really easy. It's always a challenge, keeps things interesting.
Nice.
And it works well for him because, we've built this trust and alliance together. I can understand, what he wants without even him having to like complete his full sentences and kind of go and execute. And that's really what led to this chief of staff role. Before it was even cool in software. And it's still even kind of up and coming, I would say. But I was like, do I have to work for the government in this role? I'm
Yeah.
not but it's been really fun. I'm kind of like his right hand. He comes to me to support really anything that we need across the business. We actually just went through an acquisition with a company called Cultura, and wearing the chief of staff role hat throughout
Mhm.
that process was really eye opening and interesting and great learning for me, just to kind of go through that process while still, driving the marketing operations role at the same time.
So, with so many different things that you are potentially focused on, and I really like, I've worked at an agency for the last 12 years, so I relate to I like to be able to bounce around from thing to thing to thing
Yes.
and, like,
Yeah, for
um,
sure.
solve a lot of different problems at different times. Um, but what do you look at to understand what you should be prioritizing when you have so many different functions and, um, eh, you know, team or group specific priorities that you're keeping track of? Like, what gets your attention or your time in all of that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's really just, I mean, first off is like a big thing at Path Factory is we try to move with intelligent speed here. So, make decisions really quickly. Nothing, you don't wait till everything's 100%. You kind of deploy at 80, figure out if it's working or not, iterate, and
Nice.
then get it to 100%. And that's one of the things that's really kind of allowed me to wear a few different hats at the same time because we can kind of make decisions quickly and see how they roll. I think it's really, what's going to make the biggest impact across the organization, especially with, the chief of staff and marketing, is how do we operate better to drive more pipeline, more business, and more retention?
Mhm.
And they kind of do work hand in hand when you're thinking kind of at that broader level. I mean, I don't do it all alone. I have really trusted, great people that work at this organization that help me day in and day out. And that's not even just on my team. Those relationships that you build across the organization by being kind to other people, helping out where you can, and then people will return the favor. Like I wouldn't be in the position that I am without them, and we wouldn't be able to get as much done, without people kind of leaning in and doing things that are a little bit outside their job description,
Mhm.
for the greater good.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I love that. Katie, thank you so much for sharing about Path Factory and about your journey there. Let's go ahead and wrap up there. Listeners, if you want to learn more about Katie Jones and Path Factory, details will be in the show notes. Katie, thank you so much for joining me today on Data Planet.
Thank you so much for having me.